Well, I want to talk to you a little bit about those two superhero people we kind of alluded to. The first one was our spiderish fellow. How did I make him? Well, I cut out a oval shape out of the red paper, the red foil paper. Pretty self-explanatory. Cut out an oval shape. One thing that was kind of fun, I drew the spider web patterns on the back with the soft surface underneath, pressed down really hard, and that gave me that really cool embossed look of the spider webs going across his face. Mine's getting a little dilapidated. I've had him apart a couple of times. So it was just a simple matter then to put a slit on top and a slit on the bottom, the way we've been doing. And when it came to his eyes, I went to some blue foil paper, cut out some matching eyes. I cut them out at the same time, that's why they're the same size. But this time, before I glued them on, I put a little white patch of paper to give it that kind of mysterious look. After, of course, I used my pen to make another edge with some more of that great paper sculpture, so his eyes have kind of a three-dimensional look. And then just staple those on and you're good to go. The iron character is a little bit more difficult, so I'm going to take you through that real quick. That was my beginning one that I made. Yesterday I made one out of silver and red that turned out pretty neat, and so today I'm going to just make one out of silver and blue, but you'll get it. So I'm going to start with a piece of matching paper for the back and front. They're going to be the same size. So in this case, I've got a blue and a silver. Okay? And what I'll do then is make a pattern, because I don't want to goof up this foil paper. I need to be a little smaller here, I think, for this one. Let's see, will that fit? Nope, still a little bit too big. The pattern part is important because this foil paper is kind of easy to goof up. Okay, something like that. I like that. Maybe a little too pointy on the chin, though. Come on, Mr. Shay, get it right, will you? All right, so I'm going to make an equal size copy of silver and blue, because I want my mask to have two pieces. So I'll just stick that on there and cut out around that, like so. Okay, good. Boy, get rid of some of this junk here. Okay. Let's do the backing part first. It's the easiest part. I'm going to take my pencil, flip over your background sheet. Okay, you could be doing this with construction paper too. And I'm going to make some cheekbones for our character. He's really kind of like shaped like a skull, basically, made out of metal. Okay, like that. And just so I stay straight, I'm going to make like a little reference line over here. And then let's make the other cheek like that. I'm getting that kind of straight, even. Okay. Almost. Okay, I'm going to trim some of that off. That's not quite even either. Always making these little adjustments as I go. Okay, so I really like that. I think that's going to work out. One more little adjustment here. Okay, with my pen then, I'm going to score those cheeks so that they bend in. So pressing down hard on my soft background. Okay, and just for fun, I think I'll make some like machine lines down here. I'm not quite sure if they're going to show, but we'll just kind of emboss some kind of a machine sort of lines in there to kind of give it a nice look on the front. Okay, so now that we've got those lines on the side, It's a simple matter to do our embossing, or our folding back rather, and we've got the start of our back part of our mask. I'm going to come up here to the top and make a notch right about center so that I can put a rounded shape in the head, and then that kind of bends the whole thing back kind of nicely like that. Hard to hold on to though when you're stapling it. Come on, get a grip here. Okay, so far so good. Let's take the other color. Now here's where some of the real artwork takes place here. We're going to make some cutaway lines, and what I'm going to try to do first is lay this down here. Let's see, that's about where I want to be. This is going to be laying on top of that other piece, so I guess right about there and right about there. I'm going to make a couple of reference lines like that. And then like that. Okay. You doing okay so far? Yeah, I know you are. Don't worry, this is just the back of the paper. I'm kind of sketchy there. Alright, now this part I'm going to come in here and make a line across right about here. Okay. And then down below I'm going to spread that line out like that. Okay, kind of spread that out. And then I'm going to make another line that is within this line. Like that. That's going to be where we cut his cheeks away. And if you don't do this exactly right, it'll still look great. I mean, it's just going to be fantastic. I know it. Okay. Alright, up here on his temples then, we're going to be making some pencil lines here. Okay, make it like a dent in there, and then come over here and do the same. Like so. Alright, and then right about in the center, I got a little lump there I'm going to get rid of. Okay, come on. Okay, that's better. I'm going to make a cutout area, because that's what we need to do. That's kind of giving him his identity there. I think the real guy has that on his costume. Okay, looking good. To place his eyes right in here, we'll swing a kind of a line going across here like this that's got a little bit of a downward turn. He's somebody you don't want to mess with too much. He's really got kind of a temper sometimes. So he doesn't have like really sweet looking eyes or anything. He's kind of squinting at you. And I'll draw this like brow line up here like that. Oh, this is fun. Okay. Alright. Now along this line then, I need two squinty eyes. And these eyes are just slits pretty much. He doesn't have much eye opening area there. Just draw a little rectangle there. and then kind of space that out correctly, and then we'll draw another rectangle there. Oh, that's sweet. Down here we'll make a mouth. Draw a line here that connects those two lines. Make another line on top like that, and then let your line come down on the side here just a bit, and angle that down like that. Okay, time to cut out. So I'll cut out this spot and this spot. As I'm cutting, I'm trying to balance it. Even if I didn't draw it correctly, I can still balance it. Balance it by you know, taking a look at it and seeing how I'm doing. That's how we artists work, right? And this part I'm going to cut away like that. Okay, does that look about even? Yeah, I think so. I think so. Up here at the top also I'll cut. You know, this next part is the hardest part, cutting the eye slits. And you know, I do sometimes use an X-Acto knife. For our channel though, if you're small, don't use an X-Acto knife unless mom or dad are right there with you. That's why I'm just going to go ahead and go for it here and use a little bit smaller pair of scissors. I'm going to poke through there carefully through one of the eyes like that, and then I'm cutting along the line, cutting right along that beginning line that we did, and that'll let me cut out both of these eyes. Great. Let's see, come on, get in that corner a little better, and I'm going to remove these two eyes. There's one, and come over here and remove the other eye. So if I made some jaggedy lines, I'll have to correct that. Pretty good though, I'd say, pretty good. Okay. So I'm going to punch through here, and I'm going to take out that spot, and finally that spot. Okay. All right. Terrific. Terrific. He is ready to go. He is ready to go. So now it's time to take my pen, and along that cheek line, I'm going to make a really powerful, sharp line there with my pen. I'll come up here, do the same there, follow along this temple line there, and I'm going to follow along that line that I drew there, and I'm going to make some other lines here, some of these little corner marks right there, and then I'll do an edge and an edge and an edge. That'll let me do some kind of special effects there. And then finally, around where his eyes are, I will make my hard pen line there. Okay. Also, right here, I'm going to make a line, and right here, I'm going to make a line. Okay. Time to bend him then. So, look at that. All I need to do is bend in here, bend in there, like that. Oh, that's starting to look great. And don't forget to come in where the eyes are and bend along, bend along those score lines as well. Like that. I tore mine just a little bit. Oh well. And then up here, I'm going to bend that part in too. And I got a little raggedy spot there I want to get rid of. Where's my blue marker? You know what? I better hide that little spot. There we go. Trick of the trade there. Okay, better. So he is just ready to roll. Now I've got my background, and I can mount him on top of my other sheet like that. Are you seeing that? Oh, that's just spectacular. What I'll do then is staple. I'm going to puff him up in the air a little bit there so he's got a little surface going. And those chin lines that we did at the beginning showed up really nicely too. See if I can bend the whole thing around just a little bit more. Okay. And so he stays up in the air. I'm going to sneak my stapler in here. Like that. Okay. What do you think? That's just great. So final ideas before we move on how to wear your mask. As usual, I've been tinkering around with the mask that I made at the beginning, and I've kind of got an upgraded version of my iron guy here. Wow, check him out. And I just couldn't resist going a little bit extra step further with him. So here's how I did that upgrade. I cut 2 pieces of my blue paper. This is just the way it comes out of the package, and I stapled and glued them end to end. Then I'm going to roll them up, get them kind of curly like that. I'll show you why that needs to happen in a second. Get them a little bit curly. Find the top part. That means I'm right in the middle. I'm going to jam that into the top part of my mask here and get it going there, and then bring it around the side. And when I get it to the side, I'm going to staple it there and see if I can get it to tuck in here underneath those places that I've stapled there. Good. And around here this way. And okay, around that way. And staple. Okay, so I've kind of got like a, whoops, I missed. Let's try that again. Staple, gotcha that time. So now I've got like a side piece. If I adjust this properly and kind of work with it, I can make it adhere a little bit better to my my guy here. He's starting to look pretty good. And I'll kind of form fit that. Good. So whatever I have left, I'm going to trim in the shape of a jawline coming back here on the side there. See what I did? I came back and trimmed that like in the same angle of his jaw, and then over here as well. Okay, and that kind of adds to it. It's not that sophisticated, but I think I could probably do a couple other things. Here's something else I did. I cut a little top bit to it. Okay, and then I stuck that up here across his head. I think I'll put a curl on that. Bend that down. See how I kind of curled that down. Stick that up there like that. It kind of hides the top of his head, and it kind of gives a little bit of stability. And let's chop that off. Okay. And that kind of adds to it. I kind of like that little top part. then, icing on the cake is these side bits that I made. If you remember our Cities of the Future, we did something like this when we made like the little swimming pool thing out in the front, and I stuck those. Oh, that's really cool if you stick those like on the side of the mask so that they look like you know, he's kind of got like ears going on. Here's how I made those, just in case you didn't check that out. Cut a piece of your silver paper out, and I'm going to draw one of my score lines. Press down real hard as usual. Okay, really, and you can see what happened on the front there. So I'll make a notch into the center, and I'm going to see if I can start that bend on the front, bending it down. See how that's going in my hand, bending that down, and then once you bend it down enough, it'll collapse for you like that when you bring those flaps over one another. Okay, so you've got one of those for each side here, and that is going to look terrific. The only thing that I did differently on my kind of hero mask here is I put a little color right there, put a little piece of the red foil there just to make it interesting. I found some black construction paper and I made it appear that he's got like a gap in his jaw, and then I put this other line that we didn't do up the side of his mask there for kind of a cool look. Okay, that's enough of mask making. Now we'll talk a little bit about how to wear them. If your little brother Frankie and you've got a mask, you want to see through it and put a cape on and run around in the backyard. Don't you think? So that means that you've got to be able to wear this thing if it's going to be fun. So what I've done here is illustrate a little bit about how to put this around your head, I guess. So this first one here, remember our mask that we did with the blue guy? I've just got a couple of pieces of that silver foil paper taped on right about the temple. What I did was tape one here, one there, put it around the back of your head like that, and get it on there to size. And when you think you've got it in the right spot, then pinch it tightly, staple it, and away you go. And with this guy, do you remember him? I made his headband out of paper towels. They're really, really strong if you use them, you know, without the place that you cut off, rip off. Make sure you cut the, you know, the wide direction, and they make terrific headbands for your mask. Okay, and that looked great. And this green guy, I went ahead and removed his inner face here, and I've got those see-through eyes. He's terrific. I made the headband the same way, just stapled it onto the back. Can you see that? And then here's a good illustration of our one mask that I hooked the two pieces of silver paper on, stapled it right about the temple, and I'm going to stick it on my handy form here and run it around and see what I need to do widthwise. There we go. And after I get a pretty good measurement, then I'll fasten him up. So he is ready to wear. Okay, that's going to do it for our episode about making masks, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. And remember, wherever you go, no matter who you run into, you've got something to be proud of. You're an artist. See you back here next time in Mr. Shay's Art Room.